Differences between Rizz and pickup, like how we all view it.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes,
so
essentially.
yeah, so this is my perception, which is, I mean, really, I just view the word Rizz as like a modern word that people have been using to describe what game is.
Mhm.
Now, that being said, if I had to talk about the differences between POV Rizz, which is this very viral concept that's happening on Instagram, YouTube Shorts, TikTok, versus like pickup, like long form pickup videos on YouTube that like Charisma King would do, that I have done, that some of us have done here. I think the biggest difference is a lot of the POV Riz is entertainment, and it's not necessarily this is how you pick up a girl. And I know this because, by the way, I'm technically on both sides. I went viral for POV Riz, and I have done the other stuff too. I'm technically on both sides. However, my channel, on my POV Riz, it's actual game. I'm not trying to be gimmicky. I'm not trying to be funny and weird and entertainment like. And it was me just going up to girls and actually picking them up, actually going on dates with these girls. However, most guys who do a POV Riz stuff, it's just entertainment. They actually don't have much game. When I see a POV Riz and the guy's like, hey, you dropped that. She's like, what? Your beautiful smile, right? Whenever you hear these like gimmicky lines, I'm like, oh, this is not cool. Like the
And then they
highest value
walk
man,
away after that anyway.
Yeah.
the highest value man doesn't need these weird gimmicky tricks. He doesn't have to act like this. So, in my opinion, I'm on the game side, and the way I view Riz and game is Riz is entertainment. It's focused on entertainment and going viral, while game is we're actually trying to help people learn seduction, learn how to be confident, learn how to get women for real. Not just about going viral.
Hey,
Yeah,
very
I kind of
interesting.
agree with that. Like, I feel like Riz is like basically you take game and then you take out all the structure and all of the like, this is what you do. Okay, you open, do you do indirect or direct opener? Like, how do you carry the conversation, flirt and tease, escalate the conversation, get logistics, like all these types of things that we talk about in game. And you just break it down into like just shoot your shot. It's just like just go. Go and like try to be funny, try to be interesting, whatever. And honestly, I feel like a lot of this stuff, it's like a more I feel like the Riz stuff is a lot more of like a modern package of like the older kind of like RSD stuff, like the less structured, like RSD, at least the like front end of their content before they would talk about like the concepts behind it. It was like self-amusement and like have fun with the interaction and just like go in and, mass approach so you get over that like that kind of approach anxiety and that resistance. And I feel like that's in my mind, like coming into this, I was like, okay, the main difference I think is game in my mind is structure. And I'm thinking like, how can I, display value? How can I build value? How can I, set the frame properly? I'm thinking about like all these more in-depth things. And then Riz is more, I feel like if you're just getting into it, the Riz stuff can actually be good because if I'm coaching a guy, I would rather him go and, if he's never approached before, go up and use some corny pickup line or whatever. I'd rather him do that if he's not going to approach at all. Because if it's either do some corny pickup line, it's like kind of funny and whatever, and he does it, and after he feels good because he's like, fuck, at least I went for it, and he gets like a smile or a laugh out of the girl. Like that's better than most guys that watch like game videos and they're like sitting in the comments like, how do I set the frame when I haven't approached yet? It's like, bro, like you need to go do something. And I think it's a really good gateway to like get started with that. I get a lot of message from guys on my Instagram about that. Just like how the POV Riz stuff kind of helped them with the confidence initially to go approach.
Interesting. Anyone else want to chime in on this?
I definitely got a few things to say, but I'll let somebody else take the mic for the next few minutes.
Yeah, actually, you guys kind of got me thinking a little bit about it. So, whenever I have a client, which I just did a 10-day boot camp, and I love in-person boot camps. They're fucking awesome. Uh, by the way, am I allowed to cuss on this?
I think so.
Okay, all right, cool. All right, I don't want to get you guys in trouble with YouTube. Yeah, so I like to think about like the four pillars of the game. I think that there's like generally four different ways that guys can like attract girls to you. So like the first one, obviously, School to Approach Pickup. We're all really big fans of that one. Social media slash maybe dating apps. Social circle, which I think a lot of dating coaches really lack and they don't really take advantage of. I mean, most of us are like going out to nightclubs every night, but and we're sending our clients out there, but we're not talking about also building their social circle while they're out there. Uh, Actually, that's something I think the only way that I'm probably going to disagree with any of you guys, because I'm such a broad like spectrum kind of a coach, is if you guys say that something doesn't matter. Like honestly, like inner game, outer game. I even like what Sergio mentioned. Was it Sergio that mentioned this? I think it was you. You mentioned that sometimes if a client wants to go with a goofy line, go for it. Julian used to really push this a lot. The arts decrease used to push this quite a bit, where it's like less about making the lines work and more about making yourself feel good. And if you feel better and you feel in a better headspace, you feel more loose, you feel more playful, the interactions are going to go well, regardless of what you say. Now, for somebody who's a little bit newer, somebody's a little bit more fresh, they should probably have canned lines because they don't know what the fuck to do. It makes people feel more secure and relaxed in the interaction. But once you do this for a while, it's so much more about you that I think anybody ever realized. It's so much more internally about yourself and the way you feel. And if you feel confident, you feel relaxed, you feel in a good headspace, you feel valuable and respected, you're going to be attractive to women.
Yeah. I went through a phase, kind of add on to that. I went through a phase, I think it was like earlier this year where I was just going out a lot, like doing night game. And I would have some openers that I would like work on with my friends, just like playing around with stuff. So I can give it to clients or whatever. And what I noticed is like after I use something and it works, like maybe I pull using the same opener like 2 or 3 times, it's like at a certain point, it starts coming off scripted. I'm not having as much fun with it. And then it just starts bombing completely. And so I would constantly have to like mix it up. I think novelty is really important because it's much more of like the emotional side, like how I feel. Maybe some guys, I've never really been that good at this, to be honest, but maybe some guys are really good. And I know a few guys that have really hyper structured game where they can kind of like act their way through it and do the delivery exactly perfectly every time. And like that's cool. I'm just not that good at it, honestly. I'm not that good of an actor. So I need to be in like a pretty good state and like have fun with it first and like find something that I think is funny, or that is new to me, that's exciting. Maybe it's like my ADHD, I'm kind of all over the place. So I need something that's like interesting to me to like try out rather than just running the same thing every time. But yeah, no, I totally agree. Like the internal stuff, whether you're using like structured game or Rizz, like how you feel inside, it really reflects in your communication. I think that's one of the most important things. Like whether it's, I'm going to the gym to improve myself, like a lot of that, yeah, sure. Like it looks, it's good to be in better shape. But I've also been kind of fat and chubby and like gotten girls because I felt good about myself. So it's a lot more about like getting you into a state where you feel good about like where you're at, like as a person.
Well, I think we've all
Uh,
had where, oh, sorry, David, were you going to say something?
yeah, so real quick, I was gonna say, yeah, it's really cool that you brought up that idea because that Tim brought up the idea of, you can still be fat and chubby and still get girls just because you feel good in the moment. So a little bit of personal input that I wanted to add on to that. Me and Sergio Chavez would actually frequently go out in our earlier days of getting into game, and if we look back at photos, definitely cannot cue them up right now. But we were a lot chubbier. The beards were crazier. The beards probably benefited us at the time because we were just extremely high body fat. Um,
Literally.
and just everything was off. You know what I'm saying? But we were honestly getting an insane amount of girls. More. Uh, I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but like, I mean, obviously the quality's better now, but we were getting still solid sevens, 10x. But it's whether do you want 10x the amount of sevens or you want 1x the amount of nines or tens. Like it's
Yeah.
up to you.
There's something I want to say because everyone's kind of giving like other, I guess their what they feel like is different about their game and their approach, and it's really interesting. One thing I want to say that I feel like is different about mine is that I think of things very holistically. Like, okay, how do we be the most attractive man possible? I think of it from this perspective. And yes, that's your mindset, that's your communication, that's your look, that's your game, that's your money, that's your status, that's everything. And I feel like that's what separates a lot of my coaching from other coaches is that they usually focus more on one or the other. For me, it's like, okay, game is like the thing I'm gonna talk about mostly, but we're not gonna neglect everything else. Because at the end of the day, I just want you to be the most attractive and confident version of yourself and know how to communicate yourself in the most high value way possible. That's what I help men with. And that's why I wouldn't tell a guy to be goofy. I wouldn't tell a guy to, hey, use this corny pickup line, because to me, that's not the highest value way to open a girl. And I don't want someone to have bad habits. I will teach you the highest value way to present yourself and build you into the highest value version of yourself possible. It's those two things. It's actually becoming as high value as you possibly can, and it's also knowing how to present yourself in the most high value way possible with the right communication and the right game. These are the two pillars of game, in my opinion, which is like basically how attractive are you just fundamentally, like the way you look, your money, the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, status. That's like one pillar. And then the second pillar is your actual game and communication. Like actually what you're doing technically with the girl and knowing how to lead and knowing all these things that guys have no idea what's going on. This is how I view my game. It's like two pillars.